the program is Hope Alive. Yes, there is hope and the new Nigeria is possible. Now, good morning, afternoon, and evening, depending your time zone. Once again, we are here to have discussions on the things that is happening in Nigeria. As you know, a lot is really happening. As you recall, yesterday being Wednesday, the vice president, who is Shetima, left Nigeria to Côte d'Ivoire, while Chief Bola Tinubu himself jetted out to France. And there's something I want us to note while we go into this our discussion is we have been talking about Wike in the last few days, and it's as a result of his, of course, his ban from the villa. So you will notice the entourage while Chief Bola Tinubu is being escorted. Usually you have a lineup of ministers and of course his cronies who will be in parade. Actually, people who are supposed to be manning the affairs of Nigeria, leaving their offices to come and line up at the airports. The reason for doing that, we really don't know. But maybe they don't have work to do. That's why they all come out there to do that. But notably, I want to emphasize that Chief Wike, who always is the last person who cheers Chief Bola Tinubu into the flight, is not here today. So that very news coming out from the villa that Wike has been bad for some reason seems to be correct. Now, having said that, we are going to discuss mainly today about the National Assembly, who has passed the 4 tax bills presented by Chief Bola Tinubu for the second reading today. And of course, almost all the rubber stamp senates all agreed on a voice vote. And of course, only Ndume, who objected to the passage of this second reading of this very tax bill. We are going to have a discussion on that. Of course, we are going to discuss again about 18 years after the federal government now announced their plans to conduct national housing and population census in 2025. Recall, 200 billion was previously budgeted for this. We want to, lend our voice to this very issue to see where the 200 billion has gone, or they have already padded another 200 or 300 budget in the 2025 budget. And of course, some people are still asking questions outside the program we had earlier in the day about His Excellency P2B, who had tweeted on the issue, congratulating the NMPC for actually doing what they said they did in Port Harcourt Refinery. But we now have an insider who has come out to break down who is in the host community of that Port Harcourt Refinery, who is to breaking down to Nigerians the lies and the propaganda, who is visibly at the spot to tell Nigerians about the propaganda that is happening in that refinery and why it is not true what is being projected. I'm not the only one to have this very discussion here. I have Angel in the studio, and of course, we have our own well-meaning Obidient who are joining us via Zoom.
Welcome to the program Hope Alive. Sit tight, relax, let's discuss.
Yes, as we go into this very discussion, please do like and share so that other citizens and well-meaning obedience will have a notification that we are live. So let's start first with this tax reform bill, but I'm going to do an announcement, but that announcement will come much later about the Obidient movement consultation series that is going to happen this weekend. But before then, let me take you through on what happened at the Senate today. Chief Bola Tinubu transmitted, as we know, the 4 tax reform bills to the National Assembly for consideration on October 3. Now, the move he did generated controversy with the northern governors and other stakeholders kicking against the tax reforms. Worried by the situation, the presidency explained that the bills were not targeted at any particular region, but to develop the country, according by Tinubu. Now, the Senate has passed through the second reading of this very bill for an act to establish one, the Joint Tax Board, the Tax Appeal Tribunal, and the Office of the Tax Ombudsman as part of Tinubu's comprehensive tax reform package. Now, the proposed legislation seeks to harmonize, according to them, coordinate, resolve disputes arising from revenue administration in Nigeria, but this has generated controversy. The session saw lawmakers today deliberating on the general principles of the tax reform bills. But the Senate has gone into a closed-door session to discuss the 4 bills transmitted by Bola Tinubu since September 3, 2024. But somebody objected to this, which is Senator Ndume, who obviously had some things to say. But let's get that started. Angel is here to give a little bit of our own understanding of this very bill and, of course, the input or the import. So let me start with the question, Angel. The question is, does Nigerians understand what these very tax reform bills are? Or what is your understanding or the impact of this very bill on the ordinary Nigerians?
The issue there is ordinary Nigerians, they don't even understand whatever bill the Senate passes, because they don't even call for town hall meeting before they pass any bill. Because this Senate is stamped, that is rubber stamped Senate. They pass anything passable as far as Tinubu is concerned, because Akpabio is his lapdog. Anything Tinubu wants now, just at the tip of his finger, Akpabio, yes sir, he passes it.
Yeah, I can't...
And the bill is not even to the gain of the masses, because this bill, he might see it as he's favoring the rich. No, he's favoring the masses while he's taxing the rich. But it's not true. The whole bill will still come back to the masses. Because they will tell you, oh, president or the bill or the tax is high. It goes back to the commodity. It goes back to the goods the ordinary Nigeria consume.
All right. I can't agree less. But let's get in with Mr. Tony, who is on standby here. Tony, if you recall that this very particular bill that we are talking about, the first time that it was introduced, it was withdrawn from the Senate and was brought back for Vice President Shetima to have a meeting with governors and all the people. And when they finished, they said it has been withdrawn. But at the same time, that was when Tinubu was away. When he came back, he pushed back these tax reform bills to the Senate and asked them to, go ahead with it and let all the issues be resolved at the Senate level. By the proclamations, by votes of today, it has passed a second reading. But somebody was talking there, which is in Ndume, who seems to project the fact that the Nigerian masses are the ones to suffer from this very tax bill if consultations are not even being held with the state governments. And why? Because the issues is that even when you tax the companies themselves or you tax the people who are wealthy, they are going to transfer those tax into the products that they are selling to the masses, which invariably will make the products to be expensive. So it means that the masses in Nigeria are the ones to pay the high taxes that is being proposed. What is your opinion or take on this?
Okay, thank you for having me. I think there is really something good in this tax bill. I think the Northern Governor's objection to it is coming from the VAT. That's where their qualms are. But if you look at the body of the tax itself, they are the components of individual tax. Now, if you make less than 800,000, you don't pay any income tax. Before, if you make 800,000, you pay like 84,000 naira in income tax. Now, those small businesses making, say, 50 million and above, now they're going to pay a rate which is less than what they used to pay when they make 25 million previously. The thing that I really would like to say is that they're trying to work out a balance between progressive income tax, both for individuals and for companies, and then the previous tax regime, whereby sometimes, like small businesses, they tax on turnover, which doesn't make sense. Tax is supposed to be on the profit, not on turnover. Turnover doesn't account for profit and loss. So now they're going to eliminate that. The big businesses now will pay on actual income generated from their businesses. So that is how I look at it. That there's certain things that are really good, but the one that will affect an ordinary person is the VAT, which has been raised from 7.5 to 10% starting from next year. Now, what they did to counter the protest that I think they believe that might arise out of increasing the VAT. Now, they exempted certain items like food and medicine and stuff like that. So, on balance, well, poor Nigerians will still have to cough up additional money, additional naira in VAT payment. So, my opinion on this really is that it is nice to have a tax reform regime going forward if you are going to concentrate on reducing the cost of doing business in this country. Because if you don't reform the tax regime and you have multiplicity of taxes, it discourages people. I mean, people won't actually know what they're paying, which kind of tax they're paying, and then there will be a little confusion. But they've streamlined it, joined some taxes together, so you pay it once, and then the government will have to distribute it to the areas they meant the tax to be used. And I think they're also trying to have a common means of paying these taxes. Instead of you pay this agency, you pay that agency this amount, and so on and so forth. Now they've come up with just one place you pay your taxes and you're done.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, that is what the Enugu governor did. I think he calls it a consolidated e-tax system. Everything that pertains to tax in the state is paid into one source. Everything. In that way, these touts that go around and collect tax from for different agencies have lost their jobs. It's not done anymore.
Okay,
I think that's the way I think they are trying to go in this issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's quickly, please, we need to limit this very second to very few because our time is quickly running. I just want to bring this up, one of our discussion for today, which is the Nigerian government announcing the National Housing and Population Census, which they are now proposing to be held in 2025. The person who disclosed this is the chairman of the National Population Commission, who is Mr. Nasir. Today, he recalled that despite the United Nations recommending population census to be held in countries every 10 years, Nigeria last conducted its own in 2006, making the country 18 years without accurate figure of its citizens. Now, while the country was supposed to hold the census in 2023, the exercise was botched after missing 2 dates. It was scheduled under the administration of Muhammadu Buhari. Now, the commission had spent about 200 billion on preparations for the 2023 population and housing census. Now that they said they are going to do it, my question is, this 200 billion, is that what they are carrying forward to 2025? Or we say that this very 200 billion is an audio money? That is what I want us to, talk a little about, because they had predicated the cancellation on wanting the incoming administration of 2023, which Tinubu, of course, is now in charge, to spearhead this very particular thing. So 200 billion is what we are talking about against 2025. Is it in this new budget of 2025 or is it in 2023 Appropriation Act? What is your take on that, Mr. Tony? Just within 1 minute.
Where in the budget, the 2025 budget, they've not really broken it down, sorry to say. So we don't know exactly what portion goes to this census account. But I will believe that since they already budgeted that money and never used it, this is the time to use it. I hope that's the way it's going to be, because if something happened to that budget and they're trying to budget another money for the same census, then something is wrong. And I think they've brought politics into Nigeria's census enumeration count. It's all politicized for some reason. I don't know. And I can't understand. This is data that is essential for development, essential for budgeting, essential for everything you need to know about the country. But can you imagine, for 18 years, they failed to come up with population census and housing data? That's awful. That's not how a serious country, goes about its development. You need data. And somebody was saying the other day, a former statistician that worked with NBS, that NBS is fabricating the data they are putting out for the public. They are making it look rosy to favor the administration. And that is absolutely wrong. They should be totally independent of the administration, the federal government, completely independent. Because their work is to produce facts that not only Nigerians, but outsiders, foreigners, can rely on to know exactly how to go about investing in Nigeria. Okay. And they're playing politics with it. So it's about time they do this and then come up with a credible census data that businesses and individuals can use, students can use for their research, and so on and so forth. So that's my opinion.
All right, thank you very much, Tony, on that. I'll be coming back to you again on the next, but let me get to Angel here with me. For you viewers, this gap that Tony is talking about in accurate population data, of course, we know it poses challenges in tailoring reproductive health services and intervention to specific demographic groups, ultimately undermining progress towards reducing maternal mortality and improving access to family planning. Now, all of those things are understood, but where my question lies has to do with 200 billion, which presumably is in 2022-2023 budget. That is the 200 billion is where I'm coming from. So, Angel, what is your take on this quick one?
You know, this morning, in my own opinion, you know, APC is a scam. And their government, including Tinubu. You know, this money now, they budgeted. They will still put it in 2025 budget. And they are not going to use. You see, this money, they are putting it aside for 2027 election.
Wow.
That is the money they are keeping aside.
Okay, well, Nigerians, you've had, and viewers, you've had Angel. Go to comment section if you agree with her on the fact that what they are working towards is 200 billion 2020, that very one that have not been accounted for, and probably another insertion in the 2025 budget. We should all look out for that so that we can call it out once it is in there, because Buhari made it clear they are passing it to the next government to hold, and let's see how all of these things pans out. So please go to comment section if you agree with Angel on the 2027 moving election time money. That is what they are all putting together. Now let's look at what I've been getting from our viewers who have reached out to me due to the discussion we had earlier in the program in the day. You can go and check the program we did earlier in the day, where Tinubu is currently in France having a discussion with Macron, that is the president of France, and ironically spilling out Nigerian GDP growth, Nigerian doing so well, and all of that. But we know all what we face in Nigeria on a daily basis. Everything is skyrocketing and nothing is coming down. It is all spilled with, not with facts, but propaganda. So earlier today, Tinubu, alongside the president of France, held a press conference where they are talking so many things. And if you listen to Tinubu clearly, you will see that the projections are purely lies, and it's just propaganda. Nigeria is not, GDP has been falsified. The NMPC's limited thing is also at stake. But then let me take some people on who said our own His Excellency P2B has congratulated NMPC. That is his personal congratulations. But somebody inside the community, the host community, where this very refinery is, has come out to expose what really happened at the National Petroleum Commission in Port Harcourt. And of course, I want you to hear what he had to say about the propaganda, about the lies of this very opening or the production of the fuel in this very refinery. Let's take a listen to this man, and then we can take an informed decision. He is there in the host community. Let's take a listen.
Expressing that it was just a mere show we had on Tuesday at the Port Harcourt depot. A mere show in the sense that the Port Harcourt refinery, we call it Area 5, that is the old refinery, is merely on skeletal operation. When I say skeletal, some units were recently brought up and is running. Not the entire unit of the old refinery is functional as we speak. Very slow. I will give them the credit that at least they have started something, but not to say that, according to the chief head of corporate communication of the NMPC Limited, they have put it on the media that they are already producing 1,400,000 barrels per day. That's not the case. That's not true. It's a very big, I don't want to use the word lie, but as an agency that are holding the oil industry on trust for Nigerians, they shouldn't put out some of this information that are not true. The true picture of what happened on Tuesday is that the NNPC has been under pressure to televise to Nigerians that everything is okay, and then that the old refinery has started functioning. I can tell you that the GMD, or the CEO, as it were for now, was in Port Harcourt since Monday. The other MDs were also in Port Harcourt. The MD of Port Harcourt Refinery and those heading the operations department, they didn't sleep through the night of Monday breaking Tuesday because of this whole event they had on Tuesday. What was the true picture? The old Port Harcourt Refinery is built with its own utilities, different from the new Port Harcourt Refinery. In terms of tank farm, the tank farm that is servicing the old Port Harcourt Refinery has a different loading gantry at the depot. The party they had on Tuesday was held at the new loading gantry that is directly connected to the new refinery. And so, how does that work? It's impossible. They went there because the storage facility for the old refinery had some stock, old stock, that has been there for over 3 years. And so what they had, they released that stock and then loaded 6 trucks and then televised it to Nigerians that is the production from the old refinery, Port Harcourt Refinery. That is not true. That is not true, Dr. Abate. And so I like Nigerians to know the truth. Okay. But they don't need to believe me, because Nigerians, no matter how you paint the true pictures to them, they get sentimental, they get tribal, they want to whip some sentiment and all that. The product that was loaded, and let it be on record that it was only 6 trucks. According to them, they put so many the data out there, but it was only 6 trucks. They were using it to calibrate the new loading gantry. But it's not a new refined product from the old refinery. That is not. I think that is the status we have. As at yesterday, they also loaded. But let me shock you, Dr. Abate. If we are celebrating that the Port Harcourt old refinery is already functional, how come they loaded only 4 trucks of product the whole day? I mean, starting from 7 a.m., that work resumes at the Port Harcourt depot. It was only 4 trucks that was loaded till about 8 at night. Only 4. And these 4 trucks were actually under the loading bay areas. They were loading them, and they say it's automated. How can you have a truck under a bay for more than 6 hours under an automated system? Back in the years, when we had manual loading system, it doesn't take 45 minutes for one 30,000 or 33,000 liters of truck to be fully loaded. You can ask from any operational staff or any person that has been at the depot area. Manual system loads a truck for about 45 minutes. So fully automated, fully rehabilitated, and then you tell us it's 70% operational, and then you're loading 4 trucks for a whole day, 1 truck staying under the loading gantry for more than 6 to 7 hours. Who are we deceiving, Dr. Abate? I think that is the clear picture of the whole event at the Port Harcourt depot, and by extension, the Port Harcourt Refinery. Thank you, Dr. Abate.
All right then, Ms.